The tumult at the White House continues to churn at a pace unprecedented for an American president. Anthony Scaramucci, just 10 days on the job as communications director, is out. The move comes on John Kelly's first day as President Trump's chief of staff. Our own Lisa Desjardins is here to walk us through these shakeups at the top. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Pretty dizzying set of days here. Walk us through the timeline of how we got here.
All right, to do that, let's go way back to 10 days ago. That's when we saw Anthony Scaramucci be hired as the communications director. The same day, press secretary Sean Spicer resigns. Then 5 days later, July 26th, he made that phone call to the New Yorker, reporter, in which Scaramucci used a series of profane words to openly attack Chief of Staff Priebus. Then the next one to go, July 28th, Friday, Reince Priebus resigns. That brings us to today, when we are told by the White House that Anthony Scaramucci will no longer be communications director or have any other role in the White House at all. Now, for Scaramucci, this comes as the sale of his company is still an open question. That's still working through regulatory process, and it's not clear what's going to happen with him and that.
So what is there's been a lot of reporting as to what actually drove this. Was this Chief of Staff Kelly in day one on the job pushing him out? Was it the president saying enough is enough? What do we know about how we got here?
Well, let's start with the words of the White House press secretary, Sarah Sanders herself. Here's what she said today.
The president certainly felt that Anthony's comments were inappropriate for a person in that position. And he didn't want to burden General Kelly also with that line of succession, as I think we've made clear a few times over the course of the last couple of days to several of you individually. But General Kelly has the full authority to operate within the White House, and all staff will report to him.
In other words, it was both. And that last line was really important, William. She's saying all staff will report to Kelly. That includes Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, Steve Bannon, all the advisors, she said, now report to him.
In your sense, does this really matter? How important is this kind of a shakeup?
Right, clearly a tempest is a tempest that's going to last and be important. I think the takeaway here for me as I look at this White House is the four key positions that you have year in, year out at the White House: Chief of Staff, Press Secretary, Communications Director, and your National Security Advisor. Those are the positions that keep changing at this White House. They are not stable. What is stable? These advisors like Jared Kushner or Steve Bannon, whose jobs, it's not really clear what they are. Now, that might work for this president, it seems to, but it's a real problem for his cabinet officials and for agencies in Washington.
All right, Lisa Desjardins, thanks so much.